Hello students. It is very unfortunate what the world is going through right now because of the COVID-19. I hope everyone is safe at home and maintaining social distance. Welcome to the online class. I am your social science teacher. Today we will start our lesson from the unit of economics. Economics for you is a new subject. From class 9 onwards, this subject is included in social science. If you understand and study well, this subject will be easy and scoring for you. All the 4 units will carry 20 marks each, and the rest 20 marks will be assessed from your internal activities. Let me tell you what economics is about. Economics is the study of utilization of resources, including money. Whatever we wear, eat, or travel by, and the use of money is all included in economics. Today, we will start the first chapter, the story of village Palampur. Keep your book open with you and underline the important points as we discuss. Your first chapter contains these topics. We will study all the topics one by one. Now, let us discuss our first topic, which is the overview of the village Palampur. Palampur is a hypothetical village. Hypothetical means imaginary, which means it does not exist in real. The main activity done here is farming. Farming in India is widely common. Approximately 70% of India's occupation is indulged in agriculture. Here in Palampur, besides farming, there are several activities such as small-scale manufacturing, dairy, transport, etc., which are carried on a limited scale. These production activities requires various resources like natural resources, man-made items, human effort, money, etc. Through the story of Palampur, we will learn how various resources combine to produce the desired goods and services in the village. Through this sketch, let's understand the features of the village Palampur. As mentioned earlier, farming is the main activity of the village Palampur. It has well-connected road to nearby village Raiganj, and the distance between them is 3 kilometers. And there is also a nearby town called Shahpur. Many kinds of transport are visible on this road, starting from bullock carts, tongas, bogies loaded with jaggery is gur, and other commodities to motor vehicles like motorcycles, jeeps, tractors, and trucks. This village has population about 450 families belonging to several different castes. The 80 upper caste own the majority of land in the village. Their houses, some of them quite large, are made of brick with cement plastering. The SCs, which is they are called scheduled caste and also known as Dalits, they are comprised of 1/3 of the population and live in one corner of the village and in much smaller houses, some of which are made of mud and straw. Most of the houses in Palampur have electric connections. Electricity powers all the tube wells in the fields and is used in various types of small business. Palampur has 2 primary schools and 1 high school. There is also a primary health center and a dispensary nearby, where if the people of Palampur get sick, they can be treated in this dispensary and primary health center. All these description of facilities available in Palampur shows that they have well-developed village, and through these we will further understand the various activities that are carried out. Before going further, let's understand what is production. How will you define production? Production is the method of turning raw materials or inputs into finished goods or products in a manufacturing process. The clothes that we wear is the finished goods. For example, a cotton shirt. The process of making a cotton shirt starts from the cotton harvesting and then turning it into a cloth and finally stitching it accordingly. This process is the process of production. Here, cotton is the input and shirt is the output. Every raw materials are input. When the inputs are manufactured and made into final goods, this final result of goods produced is called as output. Production is also the process where goods and services are produced to fulfill our needs and wants. Needs means the basic necessities such as food, shelter, clothing, etc. for the survival, and wants are our desire to have different kinds of foods or wanting bigger shelter, which is just to improve our lifestyle. Now let's move on to our second topic, which is very important in this chapter, that is organization of production. As the aim of production is to produce the goods and services that we want, there are 4 requirements for production of goods and services. They are land, labor, physical capital, and human capital. Just think, can production be carried out without land? Without land, it is not possible. And it is obvious that without land, there can be no cultivation of raw materials that is required to produce goods. So land is a very important factor of production. With land, other natural resources are also required, such as water, forest, minerals, etc. Land being the first requirement, after land, labor is the second requirement. It involves human resource and people does the work here. Some activities are performed by educated workers and also others like farmers do the manual work. Each worker provides the labor necessary for production. The third requirement is physical capital. It is the variety of inputs that are required at every stage during production. Physical capital is categorized into 2. One is fixed capital and the other is working capital. Fixed capitals are tools such as farmers' plow and machines such as generators, turbines, computers, etc. and buildings. These can be used in production for over many years, hence they are used in long term. Working capital are the raw materials such as yarn used by weaver and the clay used by potter. It also includes money in hand. Money is used for buying items and other payments. Both of these are used up at some point, so it is also said to be short term. Physical capital can also be called simply as capital. Now the fourth requirement is the human capital. Here knowledge and enterprise is needed to be able to put together land, labor, and physical capital to produce an output. You will learn more about human capital in the next chapter. This is the picture of a factory with several laborers and machines. Identify the labor, land, and fixed capital that are used in production. Where is the land here? The factory where it is set up in is the land. These people, those who are working, are the labor. And the fixed capital is the machines that are used in producing goods. Therefore, all these requirements are organized by combining to form factors of production. So, what are the factors of production? They are land, labor, physical capital, and human capital. And it can also be defined as every production is organized by combining land, labor, physical capital, and human capital, which are known as factors of production. Next, we will discuss on farming in Palampur. The first point is land is fixed. As we have studied that farming is the main activity in Palampur, 75% of the people that works depend on farming for their livelihood in Palampur. These includes farmers or farm laborers. Land are used for agricultural purpose, for building home and for many other uses. It is a limited resource, therefore there is a basic constraint in raising farm production. Here constraint means limitation. Land area under cultivation is practically fixed. Since 1960, in Palampur, there has been no expansion in land area under cultivation. The only way to increase the production was to convert some of the wastelands into cultivable land. The standard unit to measure the land is hectare. 1 hectare is equal to 10,000 meters square. Suppose you were given a land to cultivate, what would you grow? Would you grow a single crop or more than one crop? Is it possible to grow more than one crop in a single piece of land? Let us discuss this on our next point. That is there a way one can grow more from the same land? First, let's see what are the types of crops that can be grown. All land is cultivated in Palampur. No land is left idle. As said earlier, they even converted the wasteland to cultivable land. Different types of crops are grown in Palampur, like jowar and bajra, which are grown during the monsoon season or the rainy season, also known as kharif. They are known as kharif crops, and during October and December potatoes are grown, and in winter season, also known as rabi crops, is wheat. And sugarcane is harvested once every year. A part of the land area is always devoted to grow sugarcane. And the main reason why farmers are able to grow 3 different crops in a year in Palampur is due to the well-developed system of irrigation. Persian wheels irrigate small fields. It is used by drawing water from the well, whereas tube wells are used from the electricity which could irrigate larger areas of land. Now, let us learn about 2 methods of farming to increase the production. First one is multiple cropping. To grow more than one crop on a piece of land during the year is known as multiple cropping. For example, in a single land, both onion and tomatoes can be grown. It is the most common way of increasing production on a given piece of land. In Palampur, potatoes are grown as a third crop. Modern farming method is another way of increasing the yield from the given piece of land. Yield is the crop produced during a single season. In this method, high-yielding variety seeds or HYV seeds are used to increase production, and also modern machineries like tractors and threshers are used. Use of these machineries speed up the production process. From this picture of modern farming method, you can see that these equipments are used in this method. They are HYV seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, and different irrigation facilities and modern farm machinery. Before using HYV seeds, traditional seeds were used. Farmers used traditional seeds in mid-1960s, that is around 1965. These traditional seeds produced low yields, and the farmers used cow dung and natural manure as the fertilizer. You can see in this picture that traditional seeds give lesser produce, and while HYV seeds gives you abundant in produce, that too in a single plant. The period of use of HYV seeds is known as the Green Revolution. In the late 1960s, it was introduced to the Indian farmers to allow them to cultivate wheat and rice using high-yielding variety of seeds. Compared to the traditional seeds, the HYV seeds promised to produce much greater amount of grain on a single plant. As a result, they had increase in their produce than earlier. However, HYV seeds needed plenty of water, chemical fertilizers and pesticides to produce best results. Farmers of Punjab, Haryana and western Uttar Pradesh were the first to try out the modern farming method in India. They also set up tube wells for irrigation and made use of HYV seeds, chemical fertilizers and pesticides in farming. Some of them bought farm machinery like tractors and threshers, which made plowing and harvesting faster. They were also rewarded with high yields of wheat. So, as a result of use of HYV seeds in Palampur, the yield from 1,300 kg per hectare was increased up to 3,200 kg per hectare. There was a large increase in the production of wheat. Farmers had great amounts of surplus wheat to sell in the market. Surplus here is the extra production or supply. Now, do you think use of HYV seeds were always bringing positive impact? Let us see this in our next point. Will the land sustain? As per the scientific reports, there is an indication that the modern farming methods have overused the natural resource base. As land is the gift of nature, when we use chemicals like fertilizers and pesticides, it surely is going to lose its fertility, so it also has some negative impact. Some negative impacts are green revolution associated with the loss of soil fertility, just as we have discussed, due to increased use of chemical fertilizers. Continuous use of groundwater for tube well irrigation has reduced the water table below the ground. Environmental resources like soil fertility and groundwater are built up over many years. Once destroyed, it is very difficult to restore them. So, due to these reasons, we should limit the utilization and we must take care of the environment to ensure future development of agriculture. Let's recall what we have studied so far. We saw how Palampur is well developed and has many facilities available. We studied what is production. It is the method of turning raw materials into finished goods in a manufacturing process. And there are 4 factors of production. They are land, labor, physical capital, and human capital. About the land, we have also learned that it is fixed. In that land, kharif crops and rabi crops are grown. And there are 2 methods of farming. They are multiple cropping, where one or more crop on a piece of land is grown during the year. And in modern farming methods, HYV seeds are used along with modern machineries, pesticides and fertilizers. The use of HYV seeds led to green revolution, and we have seen both the positive and negative impact, by which we concluded that to let the land sustain, we have to limit the use of harmful chemicals and others in order to save the fertility of the soil. With this, we will conclude this class and continue the next topic in the next class. These are your homework. Question number 1. What are the factors of production? Question number 2. Explain different methods of farming. Question number 3. Write a short note on green revolution. Question number 4. What are the negative effects of green revolution? Do write the homework and submit it in time. Thank you.